In a world that is constantly, and I mean constantly, fighting for your attention, being able to truly focus is basically a superpower. So, if you've ever found yourself reading the same page over and over, or maybe you get lost in a sea of notifications when you're supposed to be studying, you are definitely in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to give you a practical, hands-on toolkit to finally reclaim your focus.
All right, let's jump right in with a quick test. I'm going to list 7 words. Your job is super simple. Just listen carefully and try to remember all of them in order. You got it? Okay, here we go. Apple, train, market, banana, school, camera, and garden.
So, what was the word right before garden? If you said camera, you nailed it. And you know what? Most people, somewhere around 70 to 80% of us, get this right. It shows our short-term attention isn't completely shot, but don't get too comfortable just yet. Okay, now for the real challenge. Can you list all 7 of those words, but backwards? Go ahead, give it a shot. It's way harder, right? Yeah, it turns out only about 10% of people can actually do this. And that simple little test, it reveals a huge problem. Our ability to hold on to information and maintain any kind of deep focus is way, way weaker than we think. Just how weak is it? Well, get this. Recent studies have found that the average human attention span has shrunk to just 8 seconds. To put that in perspective, that's less than a goldfish. 8 seconds. That's all it takes for our minds to get bored and start searching for the next quick hit, which, let's be honest, is usually our phone. It's a shocking reality for sure, but it's one we can absolutely change. So what is actually going on inside our brains? Why has focus become so incredibly hard to maintain? To really get the science, let's start with a quick story that shows you the incredible power of a mind that's fully, completely engaged. There was this student who was really struggling, and his teacher gave him a simple task. He had to carry a glass filled to the absolute brim with milk all the way across the school grounds without spilling a single drop. And as he walked, he focused so intensely on that glass that everything else just melted away. The taunts from other students, his own anxieties, all of it. He didn't spill a drop, and the teacher's point was crystal clear. When your focus is truly locked in, all the noise of life just disappears. So why can't we just turn on that kind of focus whenever we want? Well, the answer is in our brain chemistry. Specifically, it's something called our dopamine reward system. Dopamine is that feel-good chemical your brain releases when you get a reward. It's this incredibly powerful driver of our behavior, and it's constantly pushing us toward things that give us a quick, easy hit of happiness. Think about it like this. Watching a 15-second reel on your phone gives your brain an instant high dopamine reward. It's fast, it's easy, it feels good. Now compare that to studying a dense chapter in a textbook. The reward there, it's way off in the future, and the dopamine hit is pretty low. See, your brain is wired for efficiency. It's always going to gravitate toward the quick and easy reward. That's the science behind that almost magnetic pull you feel toward your phone when you know you should be studying. And what happens when your brain isn't getting that sweet dopamine hit from the task at hand? Well, it slips into what neuroscientists call the default mode network, or DMN. You can just think of this as your brain's official daydreaming state. It's when your mind just wanders off, maybe replaying past arguments or worrying about the future. This is that exact moment when you realize you've been staring at the same page for 5 minutes, but your thoughts are a million miles away. It's a direct result of your brain seeking stimulation that your work just isn't providing. Okay, so now we get the problem, right? Our brains are literally wired for distraction. But the good news is we can fight back. And I want you to think of these next 4 techniques as an emergency first aid kit for a wandering mind. These are things you can do right now. Let's break these down real quick. First up, your posture. Slouching and hunching over actually increases stress hormones in your body. Research from people like psychologist Amy Cuddy shows that just sitting up straight opens your lungs, boosts oxygen to your brain, and makes you feel more focused. Second, your breathing. When we get stressed, our breathing gets all shallow, so intentionally slow it down. Try inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 6. This literally tells your nervous system it's safe to chill out. Third, the eye lock. Your eyes guide your focus. If your phone and a bunch of other clutter are right there in your line of sight, your brain has to work overtime to ignore them. So clear your desk, clear your mind. And finally, the 10-minute more rule. That urge to just quit, it's usually just a fleeting feeling. So when it hits, make a deal with yourself. Okay, just 10 more minutes. It's a small commitment that tricks your brain, and you'll be surprised how often those 10 minutes turn into 30. Now, those quick fixes are fantastic for winning those in-the-moment battles against distraction. But to really win the war for your focus, you need a long-term strategy. It's time to stop fighting against your brain's natural rhythms and, finally, start working with them.
See, the key here is to work with something called your ultradian rhythms. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. Just like we cycle through different stages of sleep at night, our brains cycle through peaks and valleys of focus during the day. And these cycles, they last about 90 minutes. Understanding this one biological fact leads us to what might be the most powerful long-term strategy of all, the 90-20 rule.
So here's how that cycle actually plays out. When you start a task, your focus builds for about 15 minutes. Then you hit your peak performance for the next hour or so. But right around that 90-minute mark, your mental gas tank naturally starts to run low. Your focus fades. If you try to just power through it, you hit a wall. You're working, but you're not getting much done. The solution? Work intensely for 90 minutes, and then, and this is the crucial part, take a real 20-minute break. I mean, get up, step away, do something totally different. This lets your brain recharge, so you can come back fresh and ready for the next 90-minute cycle.
All right, we've covered the science of why our brains get distracted. We've gone over some quick fixes, and we've laid out a powerful long-term strategy. Now, let's put it all together into a simple, powerful toolkit that you can literally start using today. Here it is, your 5-point plan to master your focus. Number 1, sit up straight. Number 2, breathe deeply and slowly. Number 3, clear your desk of every single distraction. Number 4, when you feel that urge to stop, push yourself for just 10 more minutes. And finally, number 5, structure your deep work using the 90-20 rule. It's a complete system that addresses both your body and your brain's natural rhythms.
You now have the science and the strategy. But, knowledge is great, but it's action that actually creates change. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Looking at that toolkit, what is the very first small change you are going to make to start reclaiming your